What's good, everybody? I've been watching a lot of MMA lately, I'm sure as we all have been, and as I was watching UFC 330, let's say we got blessed by this announcement of Volkanovski and Evloev at UFC 333, which is going to be going down in late October in Abu Dhabi. I'm super stoked for this card, guys. I'm sure you guys are as well. After, let's just take a look at some of these fights real quick. Volkanovski versus Evloev. We've been asking for that fight for years now. Peter versus Merab in the trilogy. That's an absolute banger. We've got Loner Kavannaugh versus Ramazan Temirov at flyweight. That's an amazing fight. Mirzakhanov and Dominic Reyes is a decent fight at light heavyweight. And Grant Dawson and Evloev. That'll be interesting, I guess. Kind of a grappler's delight. I believe there are more fights on this card. Yeah, here's the full bout order, actually, since, billion-dollar UFC company doesn't want to put all the fights on the website. We've got Arnold Allen and Aaron Pico on there. Volkov versus Kuniev. Abus Magomedov and Cam Rouston. We've got Abdul Rahman Yakiaev, I was just talking about in the last video, getting a ranked spot against Nikita Krylov. So, honestly, it is a super exciting fight, and we're going to be getting more fights on this card, so it's only going to be getting better. So, let's just go through some of these matchups real quick. I'm just going to give some of my early predictions. Obviously, with the main event of the night, I'm so stoked for this fight. I've been waiting for Volk versus Movsra for a few years now. Even when Diego Lopez was getting, maybe not his first title shot, but definitely his second title shot, I just couldn't stand the fact that we weren't seeing Movsra fight Volk. And I know that might sound kind of strange considering how everyone seems to feel about Movsar's fighting style, but I actually don't mind watching Movsar fight. I have a lot of fun watching him. I enjoyed the fight with Lerone Murphy, even though he left me scratching my head in moments. I did not understand his game plan in that fight. But like the fight with Aljo was tons of fun, and he's had a ton of bangers. The first fight with Diego Lopez is a super fun fight. So I don't think he's a boring fighter by any means, but he has had a few stinkers, I guess. No finishes is kind of crazy. The thing is that I think Volk is gonna win this fight, guys. I was just saying it. I was recording this and I had a few technical difficulties, but I think Volk is gonna win this fight because if you think about it, Volkanovski really his skill hasn't diminished whatsoever in my opinion. The only thing that I see diminishing in Alexander Volkanovski is his physicality. So things like his chin, he seems to be slowing down just a little bit. So I don't think his skill has gotten worse though, and I think that he has one of the best styles to kind of scramble with Movsar. Now, I still think it's going to be a really tall task, and it's going to be a tough fight, but I just have a feeling, man. I just think he's gonna get him. Like unironically, I do just think that Volkanovski's gonna get him. I had this little moment in my MMA. I guess you would say I don't know how to say my. I'm not my MMA career. My MMA coverage origin. I guess in the lore when I first started Bro Watches MMA, I was kind of not. I was kind of doubting Volk, and I was like really thinking about his legacy, and I was like, well, as of late, he's really not that great. But no, Volk is that guy. I don't know what I was thinking. And I don't even think back then I would have picked Movsar Evloev to beat him. The thing about Evloev is that he's one of these guys who, sure, he takes people down a lot, but people get up and he just takes them back down and whatnot. And, Volkanovski, his grappling has already been tested by Islam Makhachev, who's a bigger guy. And I think he's honestly a better wrestler. He's probably not a better chain wrestler. I think Movsar Evloev is one of the best chain wrestlers in the UFC today. But I definitely think that overall, Volkanovski's just shown me too much defensively in the grappling for me to not be confident that he's going to go out there and show Movsar some levels. I definitely don't think he's going to finish Evloev. I don't think Evloev is going to finish him. I think this is probably just going to be like a Volkanovski 4-1 decision. Maybe he could 5-0 him, but I don't think it's likely. I think we're more likely to see a close 4-1, 3-2 decision from Alexander Volkanovski. But I think he shows his level in this fight once again, shows that he's that guy. But listen, Volkanovski's getting old, and Movsar could win this fight, and we really could have Movsar Evloev as champion, which, I he does some questionable things outside the octagon, I don't want to get into it too much. But, I really don't want him as champion, not only because of that stuff, but just because he's so inactive. Like, we would not be seeing the featherweight title defended that much. I understand, Volk's activity has kind of waned a bit in the last maybe year, 2 years, but I think Evloev it's worse, and I think we're getting better Volk fights on the regular than we are getting Evloev fights. So I think Volk's gonna get this one, and I think it's probably the best for the division for Volk to get this one. Um, Up next, guys, we've got the trilogy between Peter Yan and Merab. If I had one word to describe this fight, I would say finally. Holy, I've wanted to see this fight for a while as well. And Peter Yan, where have you been, bro? I know he's been injured a bunch. I know they've both had shit. God, I don't even know. Look at Merab's shoulder.
Damn.
Like, is he good? Who do I think is gonna win this fight? This is a tough fight to call, guys. This is one of the it's one of the fights that I've been going back and forth the most in my brain for sure. Especially with all the discourse around it, because as much as watching it live, it felt like Peter Yan was really doing him. It felt like he was getting up in there, going back and watching that fight, it was a 3-2 decision. I think it was a 3-2 decision, regardless of the fact that, Peter Yan was styling on him on the feet. But, that's just Peter Yan. He's very aesthetically pleasing. So, as much as I love him as a fighter, think about it, he has no title defenses, and his fights are always very close. So, I don't want to overrate him too much when going into the prediction. It is also hard to pick Merab in this spot, in my opinion, because Peter Yan just looked so good in that last fight. I don't know if Peter Yan's going to be able to replicate that, though. Like, it's really crazy, because, the first fight is so Merab, and I think Merab definitely dominated more in the first than Peter Yan dominated in the second, 100%. I think that's a given. So I think this is a tough fight to call, guys. This is an extremely tough fight to call. One of the more competitive fights. Honestly, this card is amazing. Like, I can't say that enough. This card is fantastic. I'll talk about it soon, but we're getting a lot of really strange cards. I saw that we just got like Rosas Jr. versus Barcelos announced, which I understand when we're in the rank.
Can you do the chiwiwis? Like, I just want to learn how to do it. I didn't hear it. I don't know why your mic didn't work. Do it again. It's not work. Wait, I think it's good.
We do need fighters they need 5-round experience. So I get that we need them to get those main events at some point, and they're in the Apex, so that's what they're there for, I guess. But whenever we have some of those, like we just had like a 3-week spree of like some pretty mid, like they were fine. The cards were good, like afterwards, like in hindsight, but on paper there wasn't too much to get excited about. I love getting these loaded pay-per-views, man. And as for the pick, I'm sidetracking because I can't make a pick for this fight. I'm fencing so hard. It's 'cause, like I listen to like Marauder and shit. Like I see all these people like all the time talking about how Merab's gonna get it done, and there's an old like when I watch the tape. Oh my god, when I watch the tape, guys. I'm not making a pick for this fight yet. Fuck it. I'm not making a pick for the feature card of the night, guys. Holy banger! This fight is amazing. Honestly, when I read this, I was in the restaurant with my friends, and I had to bust out the like I was like, holy wow. This fight is fantastic. Loner Kavannaugh versus Ramazan Temirov. My first immediate thought when I saw this is, Loner Kavannaugh, bro, you need to fire your manager. Because guys, I might be picking Ramazan Temirov to KO Loner Kavanagh in this spot. I know that Kavanagh's way cleaner on the feet. Kavanagh, in the early rounds, I think he's way sharper than he is in the late rounds. Like I don't know if the KO threat is that bad early. And as the fight goes on, we saw Temirov versus Charles Johnson. He did kind of wane in that 3rd round, but oh my god, I get a really bad feeling about this fight, guys. For some reason, just seeing anytime Loner Kavanagh gets pressured by fighters, I feel like he doesn't do that great. Like I feel like when you really start to just make things hectic, he stays he stays composed, but I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like he doesn't respond well to pressure. Like, it's not like a Steve Urseg level of danger, like when coming out the pocket and stuff. Maybe earlier in his career, but I just feel like the way that Brandon Royval was sticking a jab in his face. Like I know that the range, it's gonna be like way less of a factor, but I just feel like Temirov literally is gonna just run at him and just throw insane shit with as hard as he can. And I kind of get the vibe that Temirov's just gonna land a bomb on him and put him out cold, guys. I don't know why. Like, and Loner Kavanagh, I hate to say this because Loner is one of my favorite fighters. I picked Loner versus Brandon Royval. Like, I think he's very cool, very fun to watch. But I can't ignore this, guys. This feeling that I get. I feel like this is a bad matchup, and I honestly didn't. I did not want this fight for Loner, if I'm being completely honest. But I've seen a lot of people are very confident in Loner Kavanagh winning this, so maybe I need to rewatch some tape. But for the vibes I'm getting right now, immediately as I feel this, I'm very moved by Ramazan Temirov, and I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. Let's be honest. I picked Temirov by first round KO against Steve Verseg, and I'm very scared for Loner Kavannaugh. Up next, we got the big boys at heavyweight, Kuniev versus Volkov. Call me crazy, but I actually think that this is Kuniev's time. I thought he looked really good in that fight versus Terrell Fortune. Really imposed his will on him. Um, Terrell Fortune is definitely like a top 10, top 15 heavyweight, but I don't know. He's definitely not of Volkov's caliber, but I honestly like Kuniev's style. I think I might just pick Kuniev here. I don't really like Volkov's style in 2026. Um, I know he won the Cortez Acosta fight. I got that pick wrong 100%. But like I picked him versus Jelton Almeida, and he just lost that fight, and like they just gave him the decision. So I had a parlay on it, and listen, I was happy. Like listen, I'll take a robbery any day, especially if I'm betting on it. But I did not think he won that fight. So Kuniev is a decent grappler, but he's also not bad on the feet either. He's good in the clinch. So I know that Volkov is huge, but Kuniev is not. Kuniev's a big boy, So I don't think he's got like the physicality and like. Call me crazy, but is Kuniev not like one of those guys who's like he might be a bit more tubby, but he's low-key just an athlete. Like he's low-key an athlete. Like we saw that versus Almeida. He's an athlete. I don't care how boring that fight was, bro. So, low-key, give me Kuniev here. Wow, it's honestly just beautiful. Like, this is the card that just keeps on giving, if I'm being completely honest. Arnold Allen versus Aaron Pico. Here's my thing about this fight. As much as I love the matchup, I think it's too much too soon for Aaron Pico. I would have, for Aaron Pico, I was talking about him versus, like, Duho Choi. Like, when Duho Choi won his last fight. Like, I thought that he should have, again, really, like, fought one more guy who was, like, maybe coming into the top 15 to defend his spot before we really give him another shot back into the top 5. But he's a very entertaining fighter. He's got a very cool style, so I understand why the UFC are pushing him. And he's like one of these Bellator PFL guys who had a lot of hype coming in. I definitely think that Arnold Allen is gonna catch him. As much as Aaron Pico was getting praised for like fighting smart in his last fight, I think he just fought like a regular fighter. Like he just wasn't like in cyber psychosis, like raging, like against Lerone Murphy, literally throwing himself into spinning elbows. So like I appreciate that versus Pitbull, he was definitely more measured, but I don't think that I'm ready to say that he's like this new evolved patient Pico. He was definitely still like blitzkrieging Pitbull at moments, especially with Pitbull being like a smaller dude who he was kind of able to impose his will on. He did open up a lot. I'm gonna really do a lot of tape on this fight too with Arnold Allen, but Arnold Allen's a bad man, dude. We saw that versus Melky Costa. Melky Costa is one of the brighter prospects in the UFC, and Arnold Allen shut that shit down. Stylistically, he did have a very nice style for it, but still, he fought Melky Costa, so it was a big win for him there, and he's being more active than we've seen in a while. I'm wondering what's going on with Arnold Allen. Maybe this might be a good thing or a bad thing because Arnold Allen's typically one of these guys we see him like once a year, with his hands breaking all the time. So I'm very happy to see Arnold Allen back. Um, I as for the pick, I think Arnold Allen's gonna win. I'm interested to see if Arnold Allen's gonna finish them because Arnold Allen does pack some pop, and Aaron Pico is known for having a bit of a suspect chin, but I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm gonna lean towards Allen for now. I don't know if he's gonna finish him or not, but there's a world where Pico goes out there and really puts hands on Arnold Allen, but Arnold Allen was eating big shots off of Gene Silva, so I definitely think that he's going to be able to eat shots off of Aaron Pico, who, if he's this more measured guy, he wasn't knocking out Pitbull. He was putting him down, and he was hurting him bad, but he wasn't KOing him. So I'm not ready to say that he's going to go in there and sleep Arnold Allen yet. So for now, I'll lean towards Allen, but absolute banger. I'm just going to quickly run through these last ones. Dominic Reyes versus Mirzakhanov. I still think Mirzakhanov, as much as he kind of looked a bit staunched in that fight versus Paulo Costa. I don't think that there's going to be a threat out at kicking range or anything. I think that Paulo Costa had a very nice style to beat Mirzakhanov. I don't think that Dominic Reyes has that style. I think that Mirzakhanov's probably going to chin Dominic Reyes in the first 2 rounds. So give me Mirzakhanov by KO. Cam Rouston versus Abus Magomedov. I'll be honest, guys. I don't have a clue in the fucking world who's gonna win this fight. But I'm gonna go with probably. Magomedov had a good win in his last fight versus Olejniczak. I didn't think that he was gonna dominate that hard. Um, and Cam Rouston. Who did he just beat again? Did he just beat like Robert Brycek? I think. Um, he hasn't fought the best competition in the world, but maybe Magomedov. I don't know. I'll just lean Magomedov, I guess, but I don't know. I'll watch tape on this fight on Fight Week. Next, we've got Nikita Krylov coming back. I thought he broke his jaw versus Whitaker, but he's back pretty quickly versus um, Abdulrahman Yakyaev. Listen, I'm not that high on Abdulrahman Yakyaev like everybody else is, but just look at Nikita Krylov, guys. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm picking Abdulrahman Yakyaev in this fight. Regardless of the fact that I don't know if he's gonna be that great. I just don't think that Nikita Krylov is really that guy. I just don't think that Nikita Krylov is really that guy anymore. He looked washed in his last fight. He looked stifled by Robert Whitaker. He just looks like, I don't know. He's kind of disposable, guys. For being honest. I might be overlooking him a bit. Who knows? If he does beat Yakyaev, I'm still right technically. So I'll take it. And last and certainly least, Grant Dawson versus Nurullo Aliyev. Listen, Nurullo Aliyev broke the mind of Mike Davis. So, as much as his fighting ability, at times I've questioned it, he is lethal in that sense. He's dangerous. But in the octagon, he's not very dangerous, actually. And Grant Dawson isn't very dangerous either. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I actually think that this is going to be a banger to start the card because it's kind of stylistically a fun one. Two guys who are kind of victims on the feet. But Nurullo Aliyev at least has that one performance over Shamrock where he didn't look like a complete buffoon on the feet. Unlike Grant Dawson, who I don't think has ever looked good standing up. I'm probably going to go with Grant Dawson, though. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I wrong for saying that? I think Grant Dawson, I think that he's just going to be probably a better grappler here. Call me crazy. I think he's going to be a better grappler. I just got a feeling. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just don't think I think Nurullo Aliyev is one of these guys who, he's a Khabib clone. Is he going to make it to the top 15? I don't know. Kind of a tough fight to call right now. I need to go watch tape. Definitely didn't look great in the Mike Davis fight, but he did win. Like, you can't listen. I've been having this debate all the time, especially with this Ian Gary and Islam fight. The way people are talking about grappling, like, anyways. Listen, Nurullo Aliyev's grappling is completely different than what Islam was doing. I just want to make that very abundantly clear before anyone goes at me in the comments for saying that. I'm not trying to compare the two, as if I'm saying they were close. I'm just saying that, like, Mike Davis should know that you can't win a fight if you're getting taken down like that all the time. But regardless of how I feel about it, I think that Grant Dawson might win. Just low key. I just feel like Grant Dawson has this weird plot armor in this fight. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this card. Has it moved you? Has it not moved you? Are you excited? I'm very excited for this card. A lot of these fights I've been waiting for a while. Some of these fights, like Loner Kavannaugh versus Temirov, I didn't even know I needed them. But listen, I'm very excited for this card. October cards in Abu Dhabi are always fantastic. Let me think about it. In Abu Dhabi in October, what did we have last year? We had Tom Aspinall versus Gane, which wasn't great. Okay, we're off to a great start. But before that, we had Topuria versus Max. And then before that, I believe we had Volk versus Islam too. Like, we've had some great cards in Abu Dhabi in October. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's not the same result for Volk as it was in October in Abu Dhabi a few years ago. But anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. I'm coming.